Greetings and blessings. Welcome to the apartment stead. I've been observing / working with this space for 4 seasons now, and I'll link to all the relevant videos and just gonna kind of talk about how this space has evolved, and want to talk about the drainage of the driveway. So basically, this gets a lot of shade in the summertime, gets more sun in the wintertime. This is south, that's west, and haven't really found too much that grows. Well, I always tried to plant right here, but then realized that that was under the canopy, so the further out of the tree's edge I went, the more light there was, which made it easier for stuff to grow. So we've got some black raspberries, some raspberries, and Jerusalem artichokes or sunchokes. So it's more of just like a shade garden / pollinator garden. And it's where I make my compost. So unfinished compost, and then under the tarp is finished compost that I'm going to be using up at the farm. I've grown potatoes in here, and I might just make this whole section into a making compost. Seems that nothing grows too well there. And I'll link to all the other videos, like I said, with the raspberries in full growth. And I've made this pathway over here. I'm not a hoarder. I'm just finding the benefits of getting used goods. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be used for harvesting greens. And these are going to be for drying my garlic. So let's talk about what's going on over here. Basically, there's like an underground spring that bubbles up from the ground right here, and all of the water flows through the shade garden and right into the pathway where we have to walk to go to the door. So that's why I put the plywood down. And I think the plywood actually helps with the absorbing of the water, just because it's so saturated. It kind of helps to, like, for it all not to come down at once. It kind of, basically it's like a cover on that part of the lawn, and then it flows off into the driveway. But the water of this driveway drains in a really unique way. So it comes down through here and flows where my finger is. So I just kind of wanted to help that, because there's always a big puddle of water right here that sits. So I kind of used my shovel to make a little swale. And now you can see the water is draining out, and the water always kind of puddles up right here, so I kind of helped it along, making another little swale. And so you can see now the water flows following the path of least resistance. And I was, for like a year, or like a half a year, I was just trying to fill this pothole. I was fighting it. I've explained this in other videos, but basically we only get half a driveway because the water wants to keep draining out this side. But to make it so that this side doesn't start draining out, I made like a speed bump here, and then did these 2 little swales to go into this so the rest doesn't keep on draining out the driveway. And before I started doing this work, there would always be like a pile of gravel right at the end where my finger is. It would flow and then all pile up right there. And I would shovel that gravel up and bring it back up to fill up the potholes, and then it would always just keep washing down. But now that I've got this system in a line, there's the least amount of gravel at the end of the driveway that there's been in 4 years since we moved here in May of 2020. So it's really cool to observe the way that water flows and do some earthworks on some hardscape to prevent more erosion. And like I was saying, so it flows through that back one, it flows through this middle one, it flows through here, and flows through here and here, and all goes out to the street. So it's just a really wet site, and instead of trying to fight, so we don't want to keep any water on this site. We want it to drain the best as possible, but not so fast that it's going to continue to keep washing out the driveway. So that's why it's good that there's little small meanders and turns, and it's not just like a straight washout. It has to be slowed before it starts flowing. And we're supposed to get some big heavy rains in a few days, so that's why I wanted to just get a little redocument, and then it will be cool to watch the rain come and see all the drainage. So One Love Wholeness, just a little apartment stead update, and stay tuned for how the garden space evolves, and we will see you on the next one. Much love, peace, and wholeness.